Crew, I see you. Die hard. Trap. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah. Die hard. Homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He can smell a trophy, yeah, he need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die hard. City on my back. They ask me what's my name and it is on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gon' murder that.
Bow, guys, what's good? It's your boy Ebro, hosted this podcast. Yeah, man, we're talking about Ja Morant. I'm about to say Ja Rule. Ja Rule! Yeah, man, shout out to Ja Rule. I know he's a big Knicks fan, man, but we're talking about Ja Morant, man. Not Ja Rastafari, Ja Morant. So, I mean, that's one thing I want to mention, too, before I started that. The guy is named after Ja Rastafari, for Christ's sake. At least I think, maybe they wanted to call him Jamal, but they wanted to be cute and call him Ja. I don't know what his parents are coming from with that. But it's just ironic now that this guy is in the public eye now for the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? He's like the last, Zion was supposed to have been the guy, right? But Ja Morant is like the only American superstar out there, really. You got Luka, you got Giannis, you got Embiid, all these guys. Of course, Tatum is there. You got a couple other guys too, man. But Ja Morant, they really want him to be the face because you want to talk about Iverson, you want to talk about some of the other guys, Dwayne Wade and the stuff like that are like icons of the game. Even Westbrook when he was younger and that type of thing. These guys are like the faces of culture and stuff like that. Ja Morant, he represents this hip hop age, I want to say. So of course the NBA would like to market the game around this kid, man. So there's a lot of things that he's fumbling over this gun stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So there's three key points that I want to talk about, man. Shout out to the three people that I'm going to talk about, but I'll mention them as the show goes on. But I mentioned guns and butter. That's part of the actual avatar. The thumbnail that I put up. I put guns and butter there, and I put it in the title as well. So I mean, the guns and butter thing just reminds me of the whole baby boy thing. So now listen, if I play this video, I'm gonna violate all my rules about the N-word because I mean they just say the N-word like crazy in this movie. But the point of this thing is, right, like they Baby Boy is having his arc in this movie where he's trying to figure himself out as a man, trying to be a good father, XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure that out by himself. He doesn't have his own father. His mom's doing this thing, whatever. So this is the stepfather or just the boyfriend of the mother, right? So he comes in there, just hears them talking stupidness, saying whatever they're saying, and he kind of knows that they're in trouble. So he comes in there and tries to drop a gem on them. So, I'm saying this for a reason, not necessarily for what he was saying, because he was talking about the guns is like buying something that appreciates in value, like property and stuff like that. You should invest your time and money into that and don't waste your time in the butter. The butter is the stuff that when you buy it, it depreciates. You know what I'm saying? Like cars and clothes and stuff like that. So you waste your time on those type of things. You're not getting any wealth from it. So the guns is what you should invest in, according to the context of the movie. Invest in that because those type of things will bring you something good in the long run. So it's ironic because this gun situation, it's just something that the kids do now. Even like in just taking pictures and stuff like that. The kids always got their face covered and they got this depressed thing or like this I don't know what it is. The kids always covering their face and stuff. And then too, like especially down south in places where gun laws are not as strict, guys always have guns in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the New York drill rap, and then you got like the whatever various different rappers that they have in Memphis and all these different places. There's a lot of gun heavy music. a lot of just street culture stuff and not really a lot of anything else mixed in there. So I feel like the youth is kind of like confused right now because at least and when we were younger. So now I'm gonna be the old guy in the room now. So like the old guy says, "Oh, back in my day," but you know I am that old guy now, and I am gonna say it. Back in our day, even though we did have like our gangster rap, you know, we did have the NWAs and this, that, and the other, but we also did have stop the violence movements and stuff like that, where the guys that were talking about gangster rap also talking about positive stuff too. And even NWA, their name is negative, but they had quite a few songs on their albums that were positive. You know, so I mean these rappers now is not is the same like it used to. And like the stop the violence movement and stuff like that. I just don't think this generation will ever do that. So that brings me to one discussion before I get on to the different clips that I have set up here is that you know how bad have we ruined our youth by not being the example, by being the prime example. I'm going to use hip hop. So shout out to Busta Rhymes, shout out to Jay-Z, shout out to Nas and all these guys, right? These are icons of the game. Not just them, those are some of the big names, but a lot of these guys didn't necessarily bring up any youth coming up. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, these guys are still trying to big themselves up and try to make themselves relevant in the music game when they already are relevant. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's no kids that they brought up to teach the game and just like have them under their wing. These guys are still trying to push albums out. These guys are still trying to push their careers forward with, you know, like I said, where they already are established or whatever. So, you know, it would be nice for them to pass on what they learn to the youth. So when they come up, it wouldn't be such confusion and such disconnect because these young guys, man, like shout out to Ja, you know, and you know, even my own kid, I like to be transparent on this podcast. Like my son, I haven't seen my son in a long time. You know what I'm saying? He's like going to be 20 this year. I haven't seen the kid in a couple years now. You know, it's you know a lot of it has to do with his mom and me as well. But I gotta accept the responsibility for that, not being not doing everything that I possibly could to have try to change that situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting that against everybody too, because like I said, I already mentioned some names in here, but some of these rappers and stuff, not bringing people up. But also too, like you know, we're not doing a good job in you know, talking to our people, like the whole get out the hood mentality. Oh, we need to get out the hood, you know, this and the other, no opportunities in the hood. Listen, I'm from the hood too. There's plenty of opportunities and stuff. There's more than one way to do something. Like I never had to sell drugs in my life, never had to rob anybody, never had to do anything that the people around me were doing. And then there was quite a few other people that I grew up with that were doing the same thing. And not everybody came from great households. You know what I'm saying? And that's a cop out for people that look to you know, the streets for things. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that out there because even though I'm saying all that, John Moran is not even a part of any of that. You know what I'm saying? The guy comes from a two-parent household, or even they might not be together now or whatever. I don't know the situation, but he came from a good household. You know what I'm saying? He went to college and stuff like that. You know, he came from a good upbringing. You know, and then he made it. He's in the NBA now. So what's the excuse now for the behavior that we have here? So let's start it off here. Let me get the first clip here. So I'm going to use a couple of content creators here to get this point across here because there's three big points. So let me just make sure that I have this thing saved properly so you guys can hear this audio because to me it's very important to make sure you guys get what I'm trying to say here. So make sure the audio tab is on. Make sure this whole audio thing is on here. All right, so listen, if the audio doesn't play, right, just let me know in the chat. If guys are listening in the chat, I'll just play the chat here. Just let me know what's going on. So anyway, I'm gonna play Clips and Drew. Shout out to Clips and Drew for those that follow the Clippers. They cover the Clippers primarily, but they do talk about the NBA. But my man Clips here, you know, shout out to Clips 55, excuse me, Clips 555. He made a big point here, but basically talking about the job aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? The corporate thing, because you know, the NBA is a job. You know, shout out to myself. Like I said, I like to be transparent. I work for the city of New York. I work for New York City. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm a civil servant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know we're in New York. There's strict gun laws here, but I can't do certain things and post it online. If my job sees it, I'm gonna be in trouble. You know that this I can't drink. You know what I'm saying? I can't drink while I'm on the job. You know, I can't come to work drunk. You know, I can't come to work high. They do random drug testing and random alcohol testing. So those are the different things that work. There's other people that work from home and they don't have to put a uniform on. You know what I'm saying? That you could be drunk at work. You know, people get drunk at for happy hour and stuff like that, and then go back to work with the people that work in the office. They go get drunk at lunch and come back to the desk wasted. Guys smoke weed on their lunch break and stuff like that. But that's their job. They don't get in trouble for that because they don't get random tested. But somebody like that works for the city, shout out to sanitation, shout out to the police department, shout out to MTA guys, shout out to whoever out there that works civil service. You work for the city, and whatever they do random testing. That's just the job. If you want to keep the job, you have to abide by the rules. That is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You have to abide by the rules. So this is what Clips was saying here, basically in his clip. I'm gonna play most of it because I think these points are very valid, and I agree with all 3 points that I'm gonna point out here. So just check out Drew right here.
Decisions. Now Adam Silver's on the clock. All right. Adam Silver's on the clock. Nike's on the clock. You kind of swept it under the rug on the last time. It's been 13 months of you and guns and you and violence. It's been 13 months. Don't say it's the other people that you're with. It's you, bro. You are the problem. Some people hit us up and were like, it's a Second Amendment right to be carrying a gun. And I said, yeah, you're 1000% correct. You are more than welcome to be carrying a gun whenever you want to. But the company you work for is a private entity with rules. You want to know why teachers can't have a fucking OnlyFans?
I think that jumped out at me. He says, "Do you know why teachers can't have an OnlyFans?" I'll leave it there because he is making great points. You don't know why teachers can't have OnlyFans? Because little kids have internets too. Kids walk around with phones in their pocket, and if somebody finds the teacher's OnlyFans and they see the teacher busting it wide open, and they're gonna be showing them, how could you, they have rules and stuff like that. So if a teacher thinks that they could do that, once it's found out, they're gonna be fired and they'll never be a teacher ever again. And that's just the rules. You can't say, "Oh, it's freedom of speech, or freedom of this is America. You can do what you want to do." No, you can't. Nah, if you want to be a teacher, you can't do that. So same thing with like a teacher is basically a civil servant job as well. So the teachers can't walk around with guns and doing all this kind of stuff. As a teacher, you have to conduct yourself as such. So, it's a very weird world that we're in right now. But it is what it is. Let's go to the next one. So once again, shout out to Clips and Drew. They have a good podcast. Like I said, mostly they talk about the Clippers and the Lakers, but they do talk about mostly the NBA as well. So check them out. They're West Coast podcast. So let's check out the second page here. I got, of course, my man JJ Redick. Now JJ Redick, man, he's been he was a shooter, very one dimensional, not really a good defender. You know what I'm saying? Good basketball player, had a good NBA career. You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember him being this because he's almost like bullying guys on TV and stuff like that. Listening to his takes, I enjoy his podcast. His podcast is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Real is it's kind of funny. He lets the his guests talk. As some guys don't do. He lets guys talk. But when he's on First Take, man, he turns into me. So I'm not gonna say that that he needs to calm down, because sometimes I get crazy too and I get angry, and I just never seen anybody on TV do that, man. So shout out to JJ Redick. I appreciate his opinion and stuff, but I don't necessarily agree with what he was saying here. He was talking about John Morant and the guns and stuff like that. Of course, everybody agrees. First, Second Amendment, whatever the amendment is, right to bear arms and stuff like that. You're in a state where it's okay to carry open, artillery and shit like that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But then he starts talking about school shootings. Then I'm like, and then he starts talking about the government and stuff like that. So let me just play what he said here, just to put the context on that.
There's no consequence for an elected Tennessee official to send out a Christmas card holding AR-15s with his young family, and then there's a shooting in his very district. There's no consequences to that. So why are we trying to lay down the hammer on a 23-year-old who didn't break a law? Explain that to me.
Listen, man, the 23-year-old, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he was 43, what's the difference? What's the difference? My thing is he works for a private entity. To shout out to Clips and Drew, he works for a private entity. So he works for the NBA. He's a public figure. You know what I'm saying? He works for the NBA. He gets a check from them. So the NBA could also void his contract if they feel like this is a conduct detrimental to the league. They can actually void John Morant's contract and ban him from the NBA. That's what they can do. It's not a fact of, oh, he can do that. This is America. Yeah, of course he can do that. It's America, but it's not just America. He works for the NBA. The NBA, it's the off season. Oh, you should be able to do what you want to do in the off season. But listen, reckless endangerment, that type of thing. you just can't do that based, because of the particular job that he does. Now he does bring up the political stuff, man. These guys are elected officials. They shouldn't be sending out postcards with their families holding AR-15s. But that's the bug shit that middle American people do. They have these gun laws and stuff like that. They want to walk around with guns and stuff like that, right in their face, right, just like he said, with the school shootings and stuff like that that's been happening around the country, and then they still have the nerve to send out postcards holding guns to people. It's like it's weird. It's very weird. It's weird to condemn a kid 23 years old, getting mad and slamming desks and stuff like that. It is weird to talk about the kid, but at the same time, there is a different standard. The NBA has a higher standard than the government. Ain't that some shit? But that's America for you. Like I said, police officers, they can't just smoke weed, or they can't just pop up in a strip club and get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? They can't just like military people can't just choke people in the train and kill them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't do certain shit, man. Like this you have to conduct yourself accordingly to what you have, what you have in front of you. You know what I'm trying to say? So I mean, it's just weird. It's a very weird situation. Yeah, he's only 23, but at the same time, he's a grown man. He got kids and all that, man. He has enough. He's old enough to make millions of dollars and stuff like that. He's old enough to know what's right and what's wrong. So I mean, like, here's one thing too. I didn't really get to that conversation about his friends and stuff, because Clips did say that in his clip, talking about the friends and stuff. The friends are the problem. It's not really the friends, because the friend was videotaping and they was having a good time. John Morant is the one that picked up the gun and put the gun up like this. You know what I'm saying? Like why did he have to do that? It didn't make no sense, because as soon as he did it, his friend put the phone down. And I'm quite sure to say, yo, bro, what the hell's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, it's not his friend's fault. It's John Morant's fault. You have to put the responsibility in the person's hand, and that is John Morant. Like it's okay to be in the car, with the gun, because you're allowed to in Memphis, I guess, right? In Memphis, you could just walk around with guns and stuff like that if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, to have it blasted on display, whatever, what does that show to the public? From the NBA's perspective, so now Adam Silver is gonna have to be like David Stern now, because David Stern at one point, like, the whole league was doing cocaine. You know what I'm saying? So you can't suspend the entire league. Everybody's doing cocaine. He had to have known that guys were smoking cigarettes in the locker room. He had to know guys were splitting six packs in the locker room at halftime. You know what I'm saying? He had to have known all the whoring and disgusting behavior these NBA players were doing, behind the scenes and, whatever. But the league was in the tank. So there's nothing you could really do. The league wasn't selling. Thank God for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson to save the entire NBA during that time, because they absolutely marketed the NBA behind those two guys to make them forget about the cocaine era and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, this world is bugged out. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's the MTA is I keep saying the MTA, the police department, the sanitation, and whatever. These guys are a private entity. I'm talking about the NBA. The NBA is a private entity. So it's not the simple fact that he's going to get arrested for having a gun out, because it has nothing to do with police. It has to do with him having a job and whether or not they want to keep him a part of this thing. And like I said, I feel bad for Ja, because like I said, this guy Adam Silver is going to have to figure something out, because he already suspended him. So now they're going to talk about maybe suspending him again. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, now he's going to be on eggshells. They could possibly void his contract, and he might not be in the NBA anymore if you don't stop it. So one last thing, this is probably my favorite one, because I was trying to rush home or rush to a comfortable spot so I can give my opinion. And this is basically the opinion that I want to get to, bringing it back to the baby boy thing, is that CP here, the CP the franchise, he posted it on his personal page, which I think is brilliant, separating the Knicks fan TV from the actual person. So anyway, I'll push play on it, but I basically agree with everything that he's saying here.
But I don't hear a lot of people talking about him saving his life, because to me, this is what it's about. And when JJ Redick's like, well, why are we going to drop the hammer on this guy? He's bringing in false equivalency. Well, the politicians are promoting the Second Amendment and all that. That's what the politicians do. They're not living this life. They're not putting their lives at risk doing so. What John Morant is doing with all this clout chasing and waving guns around and waving stacks of money around on the gram, all that is doing is inviting bad energy.
So I'll leave it there, because he goes on for like another minute or so. But I agree with everything that he's saying. Shout out to Pop Smoke, man. Shout out to this other cat. I'm not good with these guys' names, because I'm not a fan of their music at all. But shout out to that other kid in Memphis that was out. I think it was picking up a cake or something for his family members or whatever. He was doing something positive, nothing having to do with anything illegal. He was gonna go pick up something, and they were following him. They jumped out and they killed him in front of the establishment. You know what I'm saying? So John Moran, he's out there, doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Did you not learn your lesson from other people around you, other stars, especially in your own city that you're playing in? In Memphis, you're out there with the guns and you're having a great time and stuff like that. But there's people watching your Instagram. You know what I'm saying? There's people watching your stuff and trying to see where you are. If you're going live and stuff like they looking to see where you are. There's shooters out there. There are people out there that are looking for you so they can take what you got. You know what I'm saying? Oh, John, you out there with what's the name? Okay, cool. They're gonna wait till you pull up and then they're gonna freaking come get you, man. They're gonna come get you. Like, I mean, to me, like, you want to talk about growing up in the hood? Okay, that's like everybody likes to talk about their hood story and whatever. I'm from East New York. You guys know that about me. I'm from East New York. I'm in my 40s, so I'm talking about in the 80s. So we got New York City in the background with the freaking subwoofer in the Honda Civic driving by right now. So anyway, like I said, I'm from East New York in the 80s and the 90s or whatever. Talk about top crack era, whatever, man. So there was ways that you had to maneuver. There's certain things you could not do walking around East New York. You just could not do that. So I mean, there's certain things that you learn as you grow up. But those things I learned as a young boy. So at 23 years old, I was moving accordingly. You know what I'm saying? 23 years old, I already had my own family, just like Ja. I was already working. I was already still in East New York, still doing whatever, still hanging out and stuff like that. Still I was uptown actually. So anyway, I'm a young guy doing whatever young guys do, but you have to move accordingly. You can't just walk around the earth like it's all good, because people get shot every day for chains and for petty shit. So if you don't want that fate to happen to you, then you don't put yourselves in those situations, man. So that's the main topic of conversation here with John Morant. Stop putting yourself in these situations where you basically condemning yourself to death or possibly poverty, man. You're gonna end up either getting hurt, getting somebody that hurt, or possibly losing your job. Losing your the ability to make money playing basketball at the highest level that you're making it right now. So I mean, is it worth it? The fooling around with and stuff like that. Is it worth it? To just to do that stuff, or are you gonna when are you gonna figure it out? Like, what is it gonna take for you to figure out? For me, growing up, I always had like a temper. So I mean, like in my like I want to say like when I graduated high school, college age, like 23, up to about 23, because that's when my son was born, my oldest son. I had like a freaking temper. I was getting myself in situations where I'm standing in one spot and I'm the only one talking and everybody's looking. You know what I'm saying? You ever been in that situation where you're monologuing and you're in trouble and you don't know it because you're running your mouth? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I've been through so many situations like that. But what snapped me out of it is the birth of my son. The birth of my son, getting the city job as well, because I've been working there just as long as my son's been alive. You know what I'm saying? So having the son and getting the job is what made me calm down. So I mean, he had his child already, and now he's in the NBA making all this money. So that's not enough for you to calm down. That's not enough for you to remove yourself from this toxic situation that you're in for being like that. I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. I have friends and stuff like that ended up getting locked up and stuff like that because they couldn't stop. They had good jobs and went to school, had children and stuff like that, but still found themselves in situations where they ended up being in jail or ended up getting hurt or whatever. They still ended up that way. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't see something like that as something that I wanted for myself. So John Morant's gonna have to figure that out. So I dedicated this podcast, man, just to get the message out because just like CP said, I feel like not enough people are talking about this in the way that this should be talked about. I mean, everything is getting misconstrued with all this other opinions and stuff like that. But like the bottom line is, man, listen, you're working for a job as an adult. You have to abide by the rules of the job. It's not, of course you got to abide by the rules of the land too, but nobody really cares about the government per se, and the government don't really care about you unless you're hurting somebody. If you're not hurting somebody, they don't care what you do, to tell you the truth. But if you're working for an entity and they find out something that they don't agree with their policies and stuff like that, you're going to lose your job. That's anybody. Say the people lose their job all the time from smoking weed and stuff like that. They lose their job because they're not supposed to, and they do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to drink on the job, whatever. People call out sick and they're supposed to be sick, but they're in Cancun. You know what I'm saying? They posting stuff on Instagram. When they come back, they're fired. You know what I'm saying? People get fired all the time from their jobs, man. So I mean, the only reason why this is a big thing is because he's in the NBA and he makes millions. That's the only reason why this is a big deal. Because otherwise, nobody would care. Because under normal circumstances, this dude would have lost his job already, and then nobody would care. And then you would just be online waiting for the police department to call you, or waiting for corrections to call you or something like that because you need that job. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's just weird. It's just very weird conversation that we need to have it, but we do need to have the conversation because I mean, there's some young kids out there that still on that shit like, oh, leave Ja alone and this that and the other. They don't get it. Like you really need to step back and really really get a reality check. This internet stuff, YouTube. I'm on YouTube now, Instagram. People trying to get clout on the internet, which is so weird. So weird. But that's the way the world is right now. And it's a shame, man. So let me scroll up here because quite a few people popped in here. They're chiming in and stuff. So let me just say hi to everybody, and then we can get up out of here. So shout out to Jarrell. What's good? Holcomb is here. Mega NYK, my man is here. Yeah. Ja Rule. Let me keep scrolling. We got Mr. Jackal here. Put it on me. Yeah, man. So I mean, this is just like your old people against young people, dumb, ignorant youth, mad, immature. Like I said, we all was there. I'm transparent. I said some of the stuff that I've been through in my life. We all been there. We've all been there as young people, and it's a shame that this guy has to learn this lesson in front of everybody. 23 years old. He's only 23. 23 years old. You got to learn a lesson. There's people in jail. There's plenty of 23-year-olds in jail. You know what I'm saying? Plenty of 23-year-olds in college too. Plenty of 23-year-olds that are electricians, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, real estate, making real estate deals and all kind of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, listen, you got to pick your life. How do you want to live your life? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Knicks and Knicks are nice. What's good, my brother? The Knicks are nice. He's an American that can carry though. So I hope you got my message, and as you were listening, I hope you got the message here. Because he's an American and yes, he can carry, but it's about the job that he has. Like it's illegal to smoke weed in New York right now. But if you work for corrections, it's not legal for you. You know what I'm saying? So you can't like get caught for smoking weed as a correction officer and then talk about, oh, but it's illegal in New York. No, it's not legal for corrections. You know what I'm saying? So you can't fight it. You're fired, fam. Because he has a job. You know? The NBA already told him stop the bullshit. He said, "Okay, my bad," and then he does it again. So it's like they gave him a shot. And his sponsors too. Nice shout out to Nike and whoever else is sponsoring him. They gave him a shot. They left it alone, but he didn't stop. So what the hell? They can't have commercials and stuff like that. They can't have him the face of their brand. At least I don't think so. It would be weird to see him. Doing McDonald's commercials, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You know what I'm saying? With I don't know. And then my man here is talking about Lucas. And I got people always want to make it into a white and black thing. So my thing, if Luka did the same thing, Luka would be in trouble too. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Luka wouldn't do that because he's from his country. So I mean, listen, if he was in his country and did some shit like that, then it will be something that will be talked about. You know what I'm saying? But these guys don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But what if? Yeah, man, but let's not make it into a white and black thing because it's not a white and black thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. JJ is a gentrifier. He absolutely is a gentrifier, man. But you on that bullshit. I see Miss Knicks are nice. JJ, I think he lives in Brooklyn now. So he's like one of those gentrifier guys that's living in Brooklyn now. Whatever. He is a goofy. I agree with you. But like I said, let's not take away what the situation is with Ja Morant. So I already talked about it. Like I said, I hope you got the point. But we're gonna keep it scrolling here. See who else is here before we get up out of here. Basically, everyone else is saying the same thing. Mega says Clown is missing the point. NBA is a business. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, like at least my man Mega gets what I'm trying to say here. Ja Morant's behavior is inexcusable. They're gonna throw the book at him. It's a shame. That's why Adam Silver's taking so long to say anything right now. He made one statement and he that he saw the video on and the video. I wish I would have had that cue. Looking at Adam Silver and listening to his voice as he said it, he's extremely disappointed because now he has to make a decision on something that he does not want to. You know what I'm saying? That he doesn't want to make a harsh decision on this kid. You know what I'm saying? Because it sucks. It sucks to have to do that to this guy because, like I said, he's like the only American out there that's really that good that you could put him as the face of the NBA. You know, that's marketable that you can market the whole league around this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Zion was the guy, but Zion can't get healthy. John Morant is the one. John Morant is basically the like all the young kids love John Morant. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Katina Mobley. He made a point as well. I wish I would have had that queued up. So please go to Katina Mobley's Instagram page, and he has a video talking about it too. Beautifully, eloquently spoken there from his perspective, from a child's perspective. He has kids, so he's disappointed in Ja that he still didn't learn his lesson, and knowing that he has kids that look up to him. You know, so that's another thing too that needs to be talked about. Kids look up to John Morant. So when they see John Morant on TV on thing with the guns, they're gonna do the same thing. You know, even though Ja is copying rappers, you know, these young kids are copying Ja and the rappers. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's this bug. You know, so yeah, man. I'm trying to figure out what did my man here. You know, I'm just leaving it alone with you, man. But he said AI did worse. What did AI do? I never seen AI pull out any guns and take pictures with it. Gilbert Arenas brought guns into the locker room, but what happened to Gilbert Arenas? You know, Gilbert Arenas got himself in trouble for that. And the dude that he pulled a gun out on in the locker room, that dude is locked up for life, I think. That kid that he was beefing with, that dude is locked up for life, I believe, for murder, I believe, if I'm not sure. You know, so it's just weird, man. Yeah, man. So Trish, please check out the replay, man. Who else we got here? I see a lot of more comments. I just want to make sure catch everybody. We got my man State. Let's see what State's saying here. State said, Ja don't reflect nothing. Ja Morant, not from the projects he's trying to get. That's a big thing too. He's not from you know, any bad situation. I did mention that. He's not from like the hood. He came from a good family. You know, he came from a good family and stuff like that. So there's no reason for him to be like this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like people that want that attention, you're gonna get it, man. You're eventually gonna get it. You know, you're definitely eventually gonna get what you're asking for. That's the point I'm trying to make too. As a 23-year-old man, so, like you just have to know how to maneuver. And I don't think he ever had that experience of how to maneuver, how to carry yourself, and how to get out there. Just weird, man. Yeah, man. So anyway, my man, my girl Trish, you gotta check out the replay. So I'm just going on here, make sure I don't miss anything. I got Harlem CEO here. Yeah, definitely. He's killing his own career, man. So hopefully Adam Silver doesn't go full crazy on him and whatever. But I'm saying, like, listen, this is would be the second chance. He's probably gonna get something that's gonna happen to him. He's gonna have some kind of repercussions. But if it happens a third time, then what are we gonna do? You know, it happens a third time. So here's the thing. So I'm making you the star of the show, man. So listen, I'm rooting for Ja. You rooting for him to do what? You know, because he's the one that did this to himself. So you're rooting for him to do what? You're rooting for him to stop putting guns on Instagram? You know, because I mean, how hard is that? How hard is that not to show the guns on Instagram? You know, that's what we're talking about, showing the guns on social media. You know, so how hard is that? So you're rooting for him not to do it again? I just don't understand that. I just don't understand it. So here we go. He says everybody trying to get off with their bogus outrage. There's no outrage. There's no outrage. The only outrage we have is that we want him to stop. You know, we want him to take responsibility for this and cut it out. You know, there's no outrage. You know what I'm saying? There's no outrage. He's gonna lose his job. You know, he's not gonna go to jail. I mean, it's not no outrage or anything like that. And that way, I mean, this young kid is gonna lose his job over some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the outrage is that people are saying their opinion about it. You know what I'm saying? This is my opinion. You know, I just hope that that people understand from my perspective, because I gave three different perspectives here. There's a fourth perspective, like I said, the Katina Mobley comments that he posted. He actually posted on his Instagram page. So please go to Katina Mobley's page and listen to what he had to say, because he so eloquently you know, put it, you know, from a father's perspective, you know, and I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like he just needs to you know, John Moran he just needs to stop. He just needs to stop it. Two instances, he already got himself in trouble already. So now Adam Silver is forced to do something. So, like I said, Adam Silver didn't react right away. So I'm quite sure they're having their meetings, and I'm quite sure Adam Silver is fighting the lawyers, fighting these guys, and say, "Listen, man, you know, I don't think this is fair or whatever." It's like, well, how do you? But you have to do something. So what do you do? Because you already did what you had to do to begin with. 9-game suspension, whatever it was, and then they made him go to classes and stuff like that. That was fine. People were saying that was a stretch. It probably was. But now he did it twice. He did it again. So, I mean, like, so now what do you do? Because you already gave him a bullshit thing before that a lot of people didn't agree with. I didn't necessarily agree with it neither. But now, like, now you have to do it again. So, I mean, it's just, it's just weird, man. It's just very weird. So this is Trish. Trish is getting up to date. She's like 2 incidents in less than 8 weeks on top of the other 4 or 5 that happened throughout the season. Yeah, I mean, what do you want to say? Because the NBA basically ignored most of that shit. They basically ignored most of it, and then they had to do something after the gun thing. They had to do something because now it's like you're visible. It's like you just blatantly do it. You got to do something to make them stop. You know what I'm saying? You have to do something to make them stop. So anyway, you just keep it moving. I just want to make sure I shout out everyone that pops in here, that show love to the channel. So like I said, these are my regular guys. Shout out to Shot Legacy. Yeah, shout out to everybody that pops in the channel. Like I said, at the end of the show, I always want to make sure that I say what's up to you guys, and that always show love to the channel. Like I said, this year I haven't been posting as much. I was doing the watch alongs a lot. The watch alongs. Sometimes I was missing them, but I was doing watch alongs consistently. And I haven't been able to do regular pods, as like I was doing in the years past. But this is the off season, there's no more Knicks games, man. So I'm gonna be trying to rip out these pods more often. I have another one that I would have liked to have done tonight, but this one is a little bit late. So I'll probably cover it tomorrow, man. So you might see me again tomorrow covering another topic. But this is the off season, man. Dire Knicks is back. We're gonna start pumping this content out there. Shout out to State. We got to get State back here for the Dire State of Mind. Shout out to Luis. We got to get Luis on the pod again. And whoever else you guys would like me to get up on this pod to talk some Knicks and talk some shit, just let me know. Shout out to Evergreen. Shout out to quite a the whole NBK network. We got to get these guys back on here and start talking some Knicks, talking some shit. And we'll see what happens, man. This is Wall Dog. He said the outrage we see a kid going down the wrong path and people trying to defend him. Yeah, that's the outrage, really. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, shout out to my man here. Knicks are nice, you know what I'm saying? You just listening to the show and making comments as the show goes along, you know what I'm saying? But you get the gist of what's happening here. So this is basically it. The outrage is like, you can't believe this kid is throwing his whole career away over just an Instagram page or Instagram posts. You know what I'm saying? Like to him and to most people, it's like, oh, come on, what's the big deal? But there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture here. There's so many other things involved in this, that needs to stop. And like I said, clips in the beginning, I used clips in Drew's clip. They talked about the corporate thing. He has a job. He has a responsibility to his employer. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, with CP, his own life. He has to protect himself, man. There's shooters out there. There's killers out there. They see you out there. They know you got strapped or whatever. They're going to pull you over, shoot up the car and do whatever. There's people out there that are crazy out there that would do that. And they have done it already. So many different instances that's happened to these young rappers out there. And I would hate for that to happen to John Morant on some bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? The second thing too, man, you want to talk about the school shooting and stuff like that. Why are you going to go so hard on this little kid? JJ Redick makes a point, but he really doesn't make no point because he don't really get it from our perspective because he's not us. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't come from that element. You know what I'm saying? So he's not going to see that, that risk that this kid is taking, and destroying his career and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things to talk about with that, man. But talk about it amongst yourselves. If you're just popping in, don't know what's going on, please check out the beginning of this pod, and then we can talk in the comments and stuff, man. So anyway, it's your boy Eru, Die Hard Knicks podcast. As you can see on the there, I got Die Hard hat today. 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb, salute, and I see you guys next time, man. Once again, tomorrow probably in the evening, I'll probably have something popping off, man. So please continue to support the pod, hit the thumbs up. On the way out, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time, man. Peace.
Eru, I see you. Die Hard. Trav. We gonna do this one the right way. We in here forever. Yeah, die hard, homie, die hard. You can check the swag, he the realest by far. Swimming in that blue and orange, he the lifeguard. Yeah, he been through pain, at least he got some nice scars. He could smell a trophy, yeah, you need it back to back. Represent himself, his own name is on his back. 10 toes down, try to stop him, he come back. Bandwagon hoppers, he will knock you off your tracks. You ain't saying nothing, Nero been here from the start. He been working in the lab to take his team and make it art. See him going over film to help him build and make him smart. He will tell you how he feels because he's real and he got heart. He will never fade away, he will never change his face. Everybody picking faves, and he's feeling out of place. Cause he is for the team, and he always rep the squad. Like that Christmas movie, he gon' always die. City on my back. They ask me what's my name, and it's on my back. I'm just speaking facts. We got big dreams, we ain't looking back. We be really die hard, yeah, that's a fact. We be really die hard, ain't no going back. Make the whole crowd rise like a thermostat. Fourth quarter, I'm the killer that's gon' murder.